Hello and welcome to our latest webinar in our Sports Performance Science series. Today we're talking about plantar pressure measurement and biofeedback for rehab and training. So some of the key takeaways from our webinar today are going to be first learning about what biofeedback is and the purpose it serves in the context of plantar pressure mapping. We're going to better understand the potential of biofeedback for real-time adjustment of movement patterns in biomechanics, and finally experience how different plantar pressure mapping and biofeedback applications can enhance rehabilitation and training protocols. So this is number 5 in our series, and the final in this series. We have another series coming up, and again, we'll be talking about biofeedback. In our webinar today, our agenda goes a little bit like this. So we'll start with an introduction. We'll give you an overview of XSENSOR's intelligent dynamic sensing platform. And then we'll jump in with Antonio and talk about what biofeedback is, some of the mechanisms of biofeedback in training, and its applications in plantar pressure mapping, and more detail on biofeedback for training. So I am Bruce Malkinson, Chief Operating Officer here at XSENSOR and champion for our plantar pressure system. And I have joining me today sports scientist Antonio Robustelli. Hi, welcome, Antonio.
Hi, I'm Antonio Robustelli. I'm a sports scientist and strength and conditioning specialist from Italy, working all over the world since more than 15 years, with a special focus on the application of technology and plantar pressure mapping in sport.
A little bit about XSENSOR technology. So for the last 25 years, XSENSOR has built a reputation and a profile of products around accurate pressure imaging systems with outstanding quality for nurses, therapists, vehicle interior designers, tire designers, and product safety engineers. Our products are used in continuous skin monitoring in the prevention of pressure injuries, in product design and safety for the design of the comfort and safety of automobiles primarily, and finally in sleep improvement for designing the performance and quality of the surfaces that people sleep on, both in hospitals and in their own homes. And we've brought all the components of these products, the best of them, into our new X4 Intelligent insoles. So a little bit about our intelligent dynamic sensing platform. So the evolution of plantar pressure and gait provides all kinds of key insights into improving and optimizing athletic performance. And without it, those gains may not be realized. And many of the existing plantar pressure and gait measurement products and systems are just not really suitable for real-world testing in an open environment. XSENSOR's intelligent dynamic sensing reveals accurate gait and motion data to help biomechanics professionals optimize human performance. So I'm going to hand it over to Antonio to talk to us about this application in biofeedback.
Hi, let's start with defining what is biofeedback. First of all, it is important to understand that biofeedback is a learning process. This is a definition from Evans in her handbook of neurofeedback. Biofeedback is defined as a method consisting of the use of electronic equipment to record and provide immediate feedback concerning ongoing psychophysiological processes such as skin temperature, muscle tension, heart rate, or brain electrical activity. Regarding the origin of the term and the etymology of the term biofeedback, it is derived from bio and feedback. Bio stands for biological, of or relating to biology or to life and living processes. Feedback is the transmission of corrective and evaluative information about an action, event, or process to the original or controlling source. The type of biofeedback that you can obtain during a biofeedback therapy session is a tone changing in pitch or volume, a score raising or lowering on a monitor, a graphical display showing the trace of different signal coming from the heart, from the brain, from the skin, and so on. You can obtain this type of feedback in response to a stimulus, to an action, and you can see in real time on the screen if there is a change in your psychophysiological behavior by listening to a sound was changing based on your response and giving you a feedback on the type of behavior you are having, the type of muscular action you are doing, and the type of response from the brain, and so on. What are the main purposes of using biofeedback? First of all, it's having and expecting a change in both positive or negative, an increase or decrease within the target physiological signal that you are monitoring, and the ability to develop various degrees of control, both at conscious level and at unconscious level. But what we mean for unconscious level, you can develop different degrees of control at conscious level, where you are doing changes in your behaviors and in your pattern by understanding and voluntarily doing something different based on the therapy. Unconscious, thanks to a mechanisms which is called passive association, which is a passive association of the feedback signals with progress toward normalization. Regarding biofeedback application in physical rehabilitation, we have two main categories. We have two main categories for biofeedback used in physical rehabilitation. They are biomechanical biofeedback and physiological biofeedback. With biomechanical biofeedback, you can monitor and you can train movement, postural control, and force. For physiological biofeedback, you can monitor and train neuromuscular aspect and neuromuscular output, cardiovascular aspects, and respiratory aspects. This is why for biomechanical, you are normally looking at the motor output and changes in motor output related to biomechanics. With physiological biofeedback, you are looking for training cardiovascular aspects like the response of the heart to different stimulus, respiratory biofeedback related to the response of respiratory systems to some sort of stimulus, and this is much more useful for training aspects related to stress and psychological aspects. We are focusing now on the biomechanical category related to the application of plantar pressure mapping in biofeedback. What are the mechanisms of biofeedback training? Biofeedback provide biological information to patients, in our case, athletes and players, in real time that would otherwise be unknown. And this is the fundamental aspects of using biofeedback with athletes. The main output is a sort of augmented or extrinsic feedback, because we are obtaining additional information above and beyond the information that is naturally available to them, to the athletes, to the players, but also to coaches and therapists. When talking about mechanisms of biofeedback training, it is important to have to target a biomedical variable that you are interested in address, and then transmit the information to the athlete, to the user, in two ways: in a direct and in a transformed way. So this is why in biofeedback we use two terms to describe the type of feedback provided: direct feedback and transform feedback. The direct feedback is related to the signal that you are seeing in real time on a screen, whether it is an ECG signal, an EMG signal, and so on. The transform feedback is made by the software application that is able to provide the user, both the athlete and the coach, with a visual displays describing the changes in the biomedical variables, in the target biomedical variable. Providing athletes with biofeedback during rehabilitation can have potential therapeutic effects, as it may enable users to gain control of physical processes previously considered an automatic response of the autonomic nervous system. In doing so, it may offer the opportunity to improve accuracy during functional tasks and increase athlete engagement in their rehabilitation process. How to use plantar pressure mapping for biofeedback purposes? As you can see from the picture here, biofeedback, plantar pressure mapping is suitable for biofeedback purposes because of the ability to obtain in real time information about the type of pressure we are exerting into the ground with our feet. In the category of biomechanical biofeedback, there are different tools and equipments that can be used for this goal, and this equipments includes inertial sensors, force plates, electrogoniometry, camera-based system, and pressure mats and insoles. With the intelligent X4 systems from XSENSOR, you can obtain both a transformed feedback and a direct feedback through the visualization of high quality and real-time images, a color-based pressure feedback, and also a distribution of the weight shift. In the picture, you can see the direct feedback is represented by the graph in real time of the force or pressure versus time signal. On the left side, you can see the transformed feedback, which is provided by the real-time pressure image of the foot with the color-based feedback. And you can obtain ranging from the red color of the higher pressure zones to the blue colors of the lower pressure zone. How can we use the biofeedback for training purposes? In real time, the biofeedback can be useful for both the athlete and the coach and therapist. For the athlete, the main advantages are related to the reinforcement of movement skills, the improvement of movement patterns, the optimization of the kinesthetic awareness. And for kinesthetic awareness, we mean the ability to feel how our body moves. It's the ability to have a higher level of proprioception during movement. Learning also how to offload for recovery, and learning the neuromuscular control during movement. For the coach, the main advantages are related to improvement of the assessment skills of the coach, improvement of coaching capabilities, the increase in refining in training modalities, and the ability to work more on the technique of the athlete and the optimization of technique of the athlete. For strength training, the insoles can be used for real-time feedback during a back squat or front squat, during single leg movement like single leg squat, like deadlift, but also for upper body movement like overhead press. The insoles are very fast to use and to set up, so it is very easy to implement them even during the gym session of an athlete. You can use them for stability training and neuromuscular control through the visualization of the center of pressure trails in real time. You can look at the pressure distribution in real time, and you can also look at the optimization of the ratio between quad and hip dominant patterns. And we will see this now in detail. This is an example of a squats performed with the XSENSOR X4 intelligent insoles. With the picture on the left of the screen, you can see how the movement in the squat is starting by looking at the trail of the center of pressure, okay, the symmetry of movement between left and right side, and also the synchronization. You can see if the center of pressure trail is starting moving at the same moment, at the same time, both in the left and right side. By looking at the start of the movement, you can see also if the athlete is able to use the hip at the beginning of the movement to start the movement and to put the center of pressure backwards at the very beginning of the movement. On the right side, you can see how the athlete is performing the descending phase, the eccentric portion of the squat, by looking at the shape of the center of pressure. If there is no lateralization during the movement, if the center of pressure has a straight path during the descending phase of the back squat, in order to understand if there is a lack in stability of the athlete, and at the same time still looking at the symmetry of movement and synchronization of the of the center of pressure, as well as the difference in the pressure distribution over the surface of the foot during the movement. Of course, the insoles can be used also for biofeedback during running. It is clear that the running tasks should be performed on a treadmill because biofeedbacks require the visualization of real time of the data on a screen, on a monitor in front of the user and of the athlete. So during running, you can look at this stability and neuromuscular control still through the visualization of the center of pressure trails during the run. It can be used to optimize step, both the stride dynamics as well, and you can also look at how the athlete is loading different zone of the foot to optimize and retrain some technical aspects of running. Another application of biofeedback is with rehabilitation. With rehabilitation, the therapist has a main advantages of a decrease in recovery time, better support in return to play decision, better athlete engagement during the rehabilitation process, and also an improved efficacy of the rehabilitation program. The pressure mapping can be used for rehabilitation post-surgery for hip, knee, and ankle, so the major surgery related to lower extremities, and also for rehabilitation after injury, for an ankle sprain, for hip mobility, to regain hip mobility, and for calf injuries. This is an example of how we use the X4 intelligent insoles for rehabilitation after an ankle injury. You can see on the left picture of the slides the exercise that we call foot circles. You can see that the main goal for the athlete and for the individual rehabilitating from an ankle injury should be to optimize the ability to perform some circles with the center of pressure trails with the foot on the ground. This is useful to increase the mobility of the ankle, to optimize the sensory aspect after an ankle injury, improve the neuromuscular control of the ankle, and stability as well. Normally we use a progression, okay, during the process by increasing the ability, by increasing the diameter of the circle being performed with the foot, as you can see from the screen, from the second picture on the right side of the slide. We are at the end of the webinar, and in conclusion, we have learned what is biofeedback, what are the purpose of biofeedback in the context of plantar pressure mapping. We understood the potential of biofeedback for real-time adjustments of movement pattern and biomechanics, and we have experienced how different plantar pressure mapping and biofeedback applications can enhance rehabilitation and training of athletes. Thank you very much for attending this 5th episode of the XSENSOR Sports Performance Science series.
All right. Thanks so much, Antonio. And if anyone wants to get in touch with Antonio, you can get a hold of him at his website at omni-athlete.com or email him at info@omniathlete.com. Okay. Thanks so much, Antonio. That was super informative. And if you want to learn more about Antonio and OmniAthlete Performance, you can find him on the internet at omni-athlete.com or email him at info@omni-athlete.com. And thanks so much to everyone who attended our webinar today. We'd love to hear from you, so you can contact our team today to schedule an online demonstration or discuss options to better understand our product. And you can get a hold of us at sales@xsensor.com, or you can find us on the internet at xsensor.com/human-performance.